My nose itches. And it doesn't itch because it's springtime in Iowa. It itches because I'm sitting in the middle of my living room floor, and I'm on this big red wool flat weave Turkish rug that is my prized possession. Yes, I'm allergic to my prized possession. So I'm sitting there, and I'm playing this game with my daughter, Alice, and with my husband, Adam. And this game is called Hiss. It's one of those games where you take these little snake parts, and you match the colors, and you build the biggest snake, and somebody wins. But my skin is just crawling out of my body because one thing that I don't do is sit still. It's really a hard thing for me to do. So typically when we'd be playing a game, I would be bouncing around. I'd run. I would do the dishes for a moment, perhaps or not. I would go check on the dogs. I would come up with something to do so that I'm not here in this moment. But on this day, I am absolutely committed to being where I am. And the reason is because fairly recently, just a few weeks before that, I had been at a staff retreat at the College of Law. And Sandy Boyd, who everyone knows and loves, and who is more or less the grandfather of the University of Iowa, Sandy Boyd had come in and had talked to our group. And he provided us with this speech that he had given in 1981. And you know it's a keeper if Sandy Boyd keeps it from 1981. I won't tell you how old I was in 1981, but I wasn't old enough to care about the words in that speech, but he brought that with us. And if you know Sandy at all, you know that he's concise and he's wise. And there were two particular parts of that speech that just went to my core. And they were these two sentences. There's never a good time to do anything, so do it now rather than later. Our times are our only times. And I heard in that something that I wasn't doing, and I took it as a call to arms. So there that day, I'm sitting on the floor, and I'm playing this snake game with Adam and with Alice, and I'm not going to move no matter what. And my phone rang. I mean, we all have reflexes, so I still grabbed it, and I flipped it over, and I saw who it was. Dad. Okay. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't answer the phone yesterday when my father had called either. My father had called on Saturday, called every Saturday. But yesterday I didn't answer the phone, not because I was being mindful and being a present parent, but because I wasn't in the mood to have any conversation that started with maybe a discussion of my brother's failures as a parent. Frequent topic, or a discussion of the state of American politics, another very, very frequent topic. And I most certainly didn't want to start anything that was going to end with him saying to me, Christine, there are some things about which men and women of goodwill must agree to disagree. So I let it go to voicemail. I didn't listen to the voicemail because I knew what he was going to say. It was time to we chat, we talk. I go back to the game, and we're playing the game, and a new snake card, and my phone rings again. Okay, this is weird. I don't talk on the phone. It's not my thing. I talk with people. And in that moment, I thought, okay, this is strange. And I peek at my phone, and I see that it's Sarah. Sarah's my stepsister, who I absolutely adore, but I never talk to on the telephone. And Sarah lives in Brooklyn, and my instant thought is, my dad is such a sneak, okay, because he travels with his wife, Maggie, all over the United States in this Airstream. And I thought, okay, so apparently Dad and Maggie are in Brooklyn. They didn't bother to tell me. And he knows that if Sarah calls, I'll answer, because why would I ever let Sarah go to voicemail? Because she never calls me. So I pick up the phone. Hey, Sarah. Christine, it's your dad. He's had a heart attack. I've never been punched. I'm not a violent person, but this is what getting punched feels like. All the air leaves my chest. I felt it. I felt it from my core, in my gut, this feeling. What? It's your dad. I just talked to my mom. I don't know anything else. Well, should I go? I don't know. All I know is that they have him at the hospital. Okay. Call me when you know something. Okay, I will. So at this point, I've walked upstairs, and I go back down, and I let Adam know what's going on, and I find something to do, because at some point you have to stop being present in this moment, and you just have to find something to occupy your time. So I get on my laptop, and I start looking up flights, and the next flight leaves from Cedar Rapids in 3 hours. It's $300, and I'm debating whether or not I should go, and just really waiting to hear from Maggie. And a few minutes later, Maggie called, and hey, Maggie, what's going on? Well, we got him to the hospital. Well, where are you? Well, we're in Brunswick, Georgia now. We were in a campground outside at St. Catharines, and your dad's heart was stopped for 30 minutes, and they got it started again, and he's at the hospital. Well, should I come? I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to come. I hang up the phone. I check those flights again. Now they're $600, and I turned to my husband, and should I go? And he said, well, do you want to be there? And of course. The seconds pause, and I click purchase. So I run back upstairs, and I pack my bag. I have no idea what's going on, how long I'm going to be there. So I just toss a couple things in, a pair of jeans, a black sweater, and a gray sweater, maybe a scarf for the plane, and I go. I kiss my daughter, Alice, I kiss my husband, and I hop in the car. And the whole drive from my house on the east side of Iowa City to the Cedar Rapids airport, I'm rehearsing what I'm going to say when I get to the hospital. My father is the king of the one-liner, super witty. Everything is always perfectly constructed, and very clearly has been thought out. So I'm planning what I'm going to say. And then I got on the airplane in Cedar Rapids and eventually get to Jacksonville, Florida, which now I know is the closest airport to Brunswick, Georgia. And the whole drive from Jacksonville through the dark of the rural Georgia night up to Brunswick, I'm practicing what I'm going to say to my father when I get to the hospital. And I finally decide on this line. Okay, Dad, next time you call, I'll answer the phone. I'm super clever. So I walk up, I get to the hospital, and I'm prepared to deliver my line. But there isn't another time. I spent 3 days at my father's bedside, holding his hand in mine. His hand always felt warm, but not quite warm enough. I spent 3 days of looking at his perfectly manicured toes peek out from underneath the hospital bed sheet. 3 days of wiping saliva from the right-hand corner of his mouth so that it wouldn't drip onto his hospital gown. That most certainly isn't the starched white button-down shirt and the Cordovan leather suspenders that my father would have been wearing had he known what he could wear to take his last breath. And I held his hand through a last breath that I saw coming 2 breaths ahead of time, and he was gone. My father's soul gone from this world, somewhere between that bed and who knows where, and his voice, his ever so slightly nasal baritone, never to hear again except the voicemail. Hey, sissy, it's your dad calling. It's 1:50 in the Eastern time zone. I've got a nice place to camp and a pretty good signal, so give me a chance. Give me a call. Love you lots, baby. Bye-bye. And Sandy, and those words. Our times, whether they're in the middle of an itchy rug playing a game with my girl, or whether it's holding my father's hand and helping him leave the world, they really are our only times. Thank you.